Hi, this is Lainey Cameron, and I am just thrilled because I'm here today with one of my favorite all-time authors, Carrie Lundsdale. Hi, Carrie.
Hey, how are you, Lainey?
I am doing awesome. We're all living through COVID weirdness, right? And I'm inside
you look great. You look good. Fresh back from vacation.
Yes, fresh back from vacation by the ocean. Isolated house rental. It was lovely.
So jealous.
Well, you're the one who writes about the beach a lot.
Yeah.
I love so many of your
I can't go to it.
This is true. So where are you joining us from today?
I am at home in Northern California. So been here since we've been on, stay in place or lockdown or whatever you want to call it since March. So, but yeah, I'm working on next year's project. So it's been good because it's forced me to focus.
Oh, good. Yeah, I feel the same way. Working on the next project, and where else am I going to go? Might as well get it done. So
get it done. Exactly.
So let's talk about the last project that just came out, your book that actually I think came out the day before mine in July, called Side Trip. And let me put up a slide to show people a little bit more. I love this quote, which is from one of my other favorite authors, Camille Pagan, actually. And she said it was sexy, smart, unexpected, everything that makes a novel unputdownable. And I love the fact that she also said in this that it's like you get better with every book. And I think
she's great. She's great.
Like,
I love her books too.
Yes, me too.
That's really good.
And I love on Goodreads, I always check out the Goodreads reviews first for someone's book. And it's been fun because some authors are like, oh yeah, I don't look at them. So I'm like, well, let me tell you the good stuff people are saying. And I love this phrase. People keep saying it's a romantic what if, thought-provoking, a read with heart, delightful surprise, an enjoyable joyride. I thought those were lovely things to say.
Yeah, it's good.
Talk to me more about this one. Where did the idea come from? Where's the inspiration for Side Trip in particular?
Yeah, there was no, I think, real inspiration. This is the one book that I am telling everybody that literally came to me as a full concept. And I've never had that happen before. And I hope it happens again because it made it really easy. When you see the plot and the characters all at once. With the character Joy, I knew what her flaws and her journey was, so she was very easy to flesh out. Dylan was a bit more of a challenge, but then that's his character anyway. So he wasn't too revealing right away. So his was more of, as I'm writing the story, his story evolved, and then you go back and you layer and and then add more flesh and expand on the scenes and the settings or whatnot. So when this book came, yes, I saw the ending. It wasn't exactly the way it ends. It was sort of, and I knew it was a what if style book, but it was very fun to write.
Wow, great.
Yes.
And you said normally your other books don't come to you fully formed like this. So how does inspiration work for you? I mean, you've had so many bestsellers at this point, so millions of copies, right? So like,
very fortunate. Yeah.
Where come from?
Where do all the ideas come from? Well, for instance, let's take Last Summer. The premise behind Last Summer came while I was researching the second novel in the Everything series, Everything Was Left Behind. And I tripped across a theoretical condition with the brain that actually I found very fascinating. So it was literally just scratching it on a notepad and then seeing if, once I got done with Everything We Left Behind, if a concept evolved. And it did. So a lot of times with my books, or I should say for the most part, it is very different than the way Side Trip evolved. I'll come up with a concept and I will maybe see how a book opens, or I might see how it ends, but I can't start writing until I know what's happening in the beginning and I know where it's going to end. And I have an idea of what's happening in the middle because I need that roadmap.
Awesome. And is there anything you had to cut that didn't make it? I mean, this is an interesting book. It's a road trip book. I know it's got tons of Route 66 locations, which is so fun. It's got a musician in it. It's a love story. It's a story of like second chances or lost chances. I love it. I mean, it. Like if I could have given it 6 stars, I would have.
Thanks.
but But like, was there anything that didn't make it, that was in some drafts and just didn't make it, or that people might not guess about the book?
Well, the beginning, it was different. So when I sent the book off to my beta readers, my first chapter was like what happens sometimes with authors, which was just major info dump. An introduction of a lot of characters, and it was a scene from Joy's and Mark's wedding. And it was Joy standing there with her dress on, with her bridesmaids around her, her mother, and she looks out the window and she sees a musician down there because it's an outdoor wedding, and she sees a musician and he moves like Dylan. And so here she's getting married and she's thinking about this other guy and the memories of the road trip. And so it's a great chapter, and I actually may post it someday so that my readers kind of, a bonus scene, something that fell on the cutting room floor. So after going back and forth with my beta readers, I decided we needed to open it because there's a scene in there with Dylan where we kind of see two different ways a certain scene or scenario plays out. And so I did the same thing with Joy. And so that's why we changed the first chapter. So it reflects something that happens later in the book. And it was shorter and I think sweeter and had a little bit more punch, as well as a little bit more of a cliffhanger at the end of the chapter to entice the readers to flip the pages.
I can see it. I can see why it didn't make it, but also, I want to see that scene. Like if you ever do what's your favorite piece of this book, of Side Trip in particular? Is there a particular moment or character or scene that is dear to you?
There's a scene in there that I have a lot of favorite scenes from there, but I have a scene that was one of the more fun scenes, and this is the one where they're on the Navajo Bridge and they're about ready to do the side trip. And I'll just come out and say they're bungee jumping, and the way that Joy jumps off the bridge is for real. I personally have never bungee jumped, but I was watching videos and there was one gal who was just not keen on going over, and they literally, as the scene plays out, they did that, and she just
love it.
I probably would
like to, but not bungee jumping. So so let's talk a little bit about writing in general. Like I said, you've got so many bestsellers. You're so prolific at this point. Any advice to people like me, a debut like me, someone earlier in their career who's just starting out?
Oh, definitely write your own story. Don't write to the market. Don't write what you think your agent is going to like. Don't write what you think an editor is going to write. You really have to write a story that you are going to want to read, because there's going to be thousands of readers out there just like you who will be interested in the same story. And there are so many rules with regards to writing. Don't follow them. Have your backstory, do your flashbacks, put them where you feel, where your gut tells you to put them in your book. Don't make it info dump, and you can weave it into the narrative where it's interesting and it's not something somebody's going to skip. But you hear all these rules, and it's right now I've learned just ignore them. You write your own story.
I love that. I totally love that. I agree. The rules thing threw me through a loop. Like I really had to learn.
Yeah, and you stress out, and I think it actually hinders you. That's where you'll get your writer's block from, because you literally become afraid. Well, I can't write it this way. I can't do this, and then you can't see another way around a scene or something. So just write.
Just right. I love it. That's great advice. Anything I haven't asked you or that you wanted to say here today?
No, other than it's great to see you, and I wish I could come down to Mexico and hang out with you.
Me too. It's funny. Your first series, actually, let me put the slide back up because I didn't talk much about this, but let's see if I can pull it up. Your first series, the Everything We Keep, goes to Puerto Escondido at one point, right?
Yes.
And you've actually made me always want to go to Puerto Escondido. I've not been, but that's one of those things. I really want to go.
Yeah. I haven't been either, though. I have met somebody who has gone down there and says it is amazing, and a fun little trivia bit about that series and the hotel that is featured in that series. The woman that I met who's been down there, her good friends own the hotel that hotel is modeled after. So,
oh wow!
But I learned that afterward. So after the book had already been published, and so it's kind of fun where you get these little anecdotes, or you get emails from readers where they say like they've been in a similar situation where they thought somebody was dead, and we don't know who they really are.
And you're not giving anything away there, because the first.
Actually, there's lots of readers.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about where readers can find you. You're on Instagram. I know you're wonderful at responding to readers. Carrie Lundsdale on Instagram. Mm-hmm. You've got your website. And do you want to talk a little bit about the Tiki Club as well?
The Tiki Lounge. Yes, that's my top reader group on Facebook, and people can find it by just searching for Carrie's Tiki Lounge, and that's where my top readers get the inside scoop on what's going on with me. They get sneak peeks at my covers before everybody else. In fact, they even get to see concept covers, and we go through and discuss why we didn't go one way and went another way. And it's also where I source my early readers. So when it's time to build my teams to help promote a book, and they get to read the books before everybody else. So yeah, come check us out. Hang out with us in the lounge. We'll have
That's how I got early access to Side Trip and got to read it back in a couple of months before it came out. So, well, thank you so much for spending the time to do this. Good luck with the new one that I know you're in the middle of writing now.
Editing. Revising. I should say rewriting.
Well, good luck, and thanks for joining me today.
Okay, thanks, Lainey. Thanks for having me.